Hello and welcome everyone to a new episode of our Kontext Coffee Chat. I am talking to a Kenyan coffee farmer, Susan Mwihaki Mwahura today. I'm really excited because we bought our first Kenyan coffee at the end of 2023, which is Susan's coffee, and everybody is absolutely loving it, including the team. And so I'm really excited to have the opportunity to talk to Susan today. Hello, welcome, Susan.
Hi, Kontext. How are you?
I'm all right.
My
Thank
name
you.
is Susan. Yeah, it's nice to be here. Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Nice to
meet
meet
you
you
too.
all.
You want to
Yeah.
give a little introduction, Susan, who you are, where you are, and what you do?
Hi, Kontext Coffee and the team. My name is Susan Mwihaki Maura. I'm a Kenyan-based farmer in Trans Nzoia County, which is far west of Kenya. I'm in a very small village called Kwanza. It's a sub-county. We are located about 12 kilometers away from Kitale town. Yes. I'm a coffee grower and a coffee lover. Yeah.
And
So,
your farm is called Samwa Coffee, or is that
yeah,
the coffee company that you run, or both?
yeah. The farm is called Samwa Estates. We are a family-based coffee farm that is majorly run by my family. For I'm like the third generation into it. Yes. We are about 15 acres growing this year, hopefully almost, yeah, we planted about 5 more acres, which we might be harvesting this season,
Mhm.
starting harvest. So yeah, we are expanding to maybe 60 acres in four
Oh,
years' time, God willing. Yes.
that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd love for you to just tell us a little bit about, because I think I bought your coffee through this Side Up Coffee in the Netherlands, and they told me that you are a trained medical doctor, which I thought was really interesting. And so yeah, so maybe tell us a little bit about how a medical doctor ends up on a coffee farm. What was your journey?
Oh, interesting. I've always been a farm girl ever since. In the African culture, we call someone who used to walk with the mom a lot. Basically, she is like a handbag. So I was the handbag of my mother. We used to go to the farm all the time. Being a farmer for all those generations, so many years, seeing my parents as farmers. So I usually joke with my siblings that I wish I did agriculture as the university course, because I did
Mhm.
it in our system. We have to go until Form 4 for you to go into university or any college. So yeah, I became the medical doctor, worked for 2 years, and then I'm like, I'm not really feeling this thing. And it's so funny because whatever thing you learn in the medical field, and you come to the to animal and the farm, for some reason it flows. It's easier.
All right, that's
So yeah,
interesting.
I came back home. Yeah, I came back home. Decided to take the farm full time because now my parents were growing old. And yeah, that's how I learned into my own learning and my own university course of learning how to be a farmer by internet and by visiting other farmers and visiting the our agriculture ministry of agriculture. I was stubborn. I was very stubborn because I had to understand what I'm getting into. So yeah, so that's how I joined and manage now the family farm full time because it's my job and I love it. There's
Oh,
a
great.
satisfaction of planting something and getting to see it grow and getting revenue out of it. So yeah, so that's how that farming has been my kind of loving ever since I was the handbag. Basically, I
You
was the
were.
handbag.
I love that description.
During holidays, Yeah. So during holidays, I'm there with mom. During the weekends, when I'm not in school, before, of course, I went into boarding. So it's something I grew up into it. And yeah, until now. And I'm
Yeah,
still loving it.
sounds
Yeah,
really sounds like it's in your blood.
it is. I
And
should change my course and do something now because I have the experience more than the papers.
yeah, well, maybe
Yeah.
you can teach the course now, right?
Yes, yes, I do. I do. We get some trainings. They say as much as you learn from the books, but being told with someone who has experienced the challenges and everything, it's easier for someone to follow. So yeah, we do have my neighbors who, they come for consulting, and we grow together. Yeah,
Oh,
because now I made the mistakes. I've learned it. I know how to escape them. So I wouldn't allow someone to go all through that, and yet it's something that will have been a simple thing to do. And that's the beauty of it. You have grown into it. Have learned into it. Yeah,
especially if you do it with so much passion. I mean, you can really tell
yeah.
that you have passion for what you do, which I love. Great.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So the area that Samwa is based in is, you said your neighbors are growing coffee as well. Is there a lot of coffee in the area?
They've started.
Mhm.
They come and they see who is this little girl coming and managing the coffee and still adding. Because you see, people never used to appreciate coffee as how it's being appreciated now. I'm
Mhm.
in a place where maize farming, Trans Nzoia County is being called the food basket of Kenya. Our staple food is ugali, and ugali is made from maize. So we are the main producers of this side. Kitale area, we're about 1800 above sea level, meters above sea level. So my neighbors grow a lot of maize. And to see that there's this young girl who has come and she's growing the coffee and managing the daddy's farm and actually adding more coffee. Now they're wondering, like, okay, so this thing you're planting a tree for 2 years, and I've seen them grow for the last about 4 years. After now, we went into TSU and the coffee. There's a time coffee was being sold at a very high price. So they're coming and telling us, please teach us how to do this. Because we call coffee as a generational crop. My parents planted more than 30 years ago the
Mhm.
coffee. And we still have some coffee from the colonial area. Because where we stay was the colonial homestead.
Mhm.
So we have some bushes that were planted way back and they're still there. So I guess it's a challenge that they find, like, okay, so this one they can see, how neighbors see that, okay, this farm was going a little bit down, now it's going up. So what is it that this small girl is doing from Nairobi, from the university? How the old farmers are. Like, I have more experience than you. So what exactly are you doing? I have seen growth. I have farmers who, in Kenya, an estate farmer is considered from 5 acres. So seeing someone grow from 1 acre and going all the way to more than 5 acres, it tells you a lot. So
Mhm.
my neighbors are challenged. They're
Yes.
challenged to see someone doing that thing, and it's becoming an in thing now in Kenya. So my neighbors they're growing. They are expanding into coffee. Probably in 4 or 5 years time, we're gonna have major coffee into my village, my small village, than the neighboring village.
Well, that's
Yeah.
great. You inspire people then. That's great to hear. How much of your farm did you say is planted with coffee then? Because I assume your coffee probably isn't your only crop then, right?
No, 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 no. We are a mixed farm. As I said earlier, maize is the the main crop here.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to change that narrative of just planting maize and waiting
Mhm.
to harvest with no constant prices and the rest. Because when you compare maize farming and coffee, you really can't compare the returns of everything. And that is the major thing where they are trying to come into coffee
Mhm.
slowly. Of course, not all that, because they're used to being one type of crop.
Yeah.
So the farm, we are mixed farmers. We have our major plants of maize, being a larger area, and then coffee comes next. And we do have animals. We are also dairy farmers. Yeah,
Good mix then. Yeah.
yeah. It all interchanges into it, because you see, our coffee, we use a lot of manure from our cows into the coffee. Yes. So it's a win-win thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, definitely
Yeah.
sounds like you're an innovator in your area as well, then, with the farm that you have inherited from your parents and their experience, I'm sure, as well, in growing coffee, if they've been doing it for 30 years.
Yeah, more than
Amazing.
yes.
That is pretty amazing. How long have you been managing the farm?
I left my work in 2015, December. So coming into the farm officially was 2016. So basically 2016 to now, and growing.
Yes, and
Yeah.
revolutionizing your village while you're at it, it seems.
I know. Very soon we're gonna be called the coffee village.
Yes, absolutely.
They're really growing into it. I'm happy. I'm happy to make an impact into the society of encouraging them that this thing is a generational crop. It's something that you can plant, and generation to generation still has to keep the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, and still manage the trees and growing into it. Yes.
It's interesting to hear you say that, because in many other coffee growing origins, this is exactly part of the of the challenges that coffee as a crop is facing in many other places, because prices have traditionally been so low that the younger generations don't see a future in coffee anymore. And so it's really
Yeah.
refreshing to see that with you, you couldn't wait. You even gave up a career in medicine to come back to the farm and
Yeah.
put all your energy and effort into making it work and grow not just the crop, but the coffee part of your business as well.
Yes. Yes.
How about in Kenya in general? Is the because you said it's a generational crop, which it totally is, but is the younger generation still interested in working coffee fields?
Most of my friends, uh, mostly they are going into the value addition aspect of it, because in Kenya, coffee is not known to be. We are not a coffee drinking nation. We only drink coffee when we're meeting into important meetings and going for small dates, and there, it's a luxury kind of drink.
Mhm.
But last 2 years, I have a youth farmer that we're encouraging. He started packaging his own coffee and selling it to the small coffee shops, that they don't not have to buy coffee from somewhere else, and they can actually take their own coffee. I mean, we have farmers who haven't ever tasted their own coffee. They did not know how it tastes. So with him buying the coffee beans and roasting
Mhm.
and packaging into small quantities, an encouraging way. So yeah, I have friends who are coming into the coffee field,
Mhm.
not only on the coffee production, but on the value addition to it, and even liquoring, and during doing baristas. It's like a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
So they are more interested to see what exactly, not just planting. A farmer in Kenya is considered someone above 60 years and above, and someone who's just, you can see from the posters, you see someone, this guy is a farmer. Like, how in the world does he look like that? So it cannot encourage the young people to be in the farm. So
Yeah.
encouraging them with other platform to work with coffee, not only in the fields, and maybe some of them do not have they are not being given, or do not have the land capacity into getting the coffee trees. I'm privileged because it's a family farm, and when a parent just see that you are working into something, they will be encouraged to test you if you're able to do it or not before they fully allow you into it. So and you can see like maybe others are not privileged into having the land. So we encourage them into the value addition aspects. The
Yeah.
barista going all the way to the city. Our city is Nairobi. And there are small cafes that are being opened day in, day out. Because I told you coffee is a luxury. We tend to find it as this cool thing that I'm taking coffee in the morning and the rest. So yeah, so that is one thing I've seen most of my mates going into it, because
Mhm.
there are barista school being opened, professional baristas, professional cappers, because we do not have many. It's a very small window that we do not have. It's not a common thing.
Mhm.
So it's an exploited avenue that it's being exploited now.
Good,
Yeah.
good, good. So you're not just growing coffee, but you're also part of building a proper coffee scene in Kenya as well, then.
Yes, yes, yes.
Amazing.
Hoping we will be in the books of starting this generation into it. Yeah.
Oh, good, good, good. That's so good to hear, because I think, I mean, Kenyan coffee especially is just, it's so popular all over the world because of its quality and because of its very particular flavor properties that it brings to the cup, with
Wow.
the tart acidity and certain berry notes and things like that. It's just generally really popular all over the world, and so it's really good to hear that you're embracing your own coffee, and as you said, creating opportunities for the younger generations to tap into the value chain and keep more of the value in Kenya as well. That's really good
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
hear. Got a
I
little
have
bit of a
my nephew
background
here.
choir.
I have my nephew here. He's making noise here. He's like the future generational coffee farmer.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Hmm.
He's got something
And
to say.
yeah. And not only that, I forgot to add this with the young generation, because you see, coffee is it's being embraced right now in Kenya so much.
Mhm,
So we encourage the young, the youth, those ones who have 18, those who have just finished the high school, to
mhm,
do sit. So they join together. Like I have some groups who have joined together, and they are creating the seeds to a seedling so to be planted.
mhm.
And it's a way, because we are all looking for that dollar and that revenue. So it's all connected into the value aspect of the coffee.
Yeah, you have to
Yes.
diversify and find new ways to have broader income possibilities. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
great. Well, can you tell us a little bit more about how you farm your coffee? I mean, what role does nature play in what you do?
Okay. Most of the coffee, the variety that we grow in this area, we are more of an island because of the altitude that is at 1800 to 2200 meters into the above sea level. So our coffee, the variety that we grow is mainly, I don't know if you've heard of Riru, the famous Riru 11
Uh-huh.
and Batman, and there's an SL and a
Mhm,
K7. Those are the common varieties grown in the altitude that we are in, and it's Arabica.
mhm,
So nature, most of our coffee, my coffee, Samwa coffee is rain fed throughout, because we are we are blessed to have rains almost when the plants need them.
mhm. So you
But we do.
don't need to add additional irrigation in any
No.
way. Mhm,
Yeah, but we are seeing the climate change that is coming into it, because our season has really changed. I mean, it's January and it's raining. We never used to have rains in January. It used to be really, really dry, and the hottest months in the year. But now with the weather, climate change, and everything, I think we'll have to embrace it. So it's gonna play a major role. Like last year it did, because it was on a positive side, because we saw additional production into the same trees that you could not tell it can produce like that, because when the rains were needed, it was there. So we are yet to learn about this new weather pattern that is coming with the weather change. But basically, our crop is completely rain fed. Yes. Yeah. As I said early, having the cows, we use manures into putting into the coffee fields, which I think when it starts raining a little bit, with the manure holds the little water and still nurture the crop into growing and not having the stress of heat. So we haven't had any stressful heat of the sun yet. But of course, as progressively we are going, probably in years to come, hopefully when we embrace the climate change that is going into, maybe we do not know how it's going to be in the years to come, if it's going to be, if the weather cycle is going to change, or yeah. So it's something you're going just bit by bit understanding it, because it's crazy. Like, we never used to have rains, because this is the time when we used to do, stressing the coffee plant for it to produce more.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah.
But generally speaking, would you say that the way the rains have increased is that positive for the yield, or are you now lacking periods of sun for the cherries to ripen, and how does that affect your yields?
20 we're in 2024. Okay, we are yet to understand this 2024 thing. But 20 let's start with 2022, is when we started seeing that there is a change of weather, considering how we used to harvest, because normally we only have one season harvest. So we used to harvest in around from October going into early January, and then we strip the trees. So that year is when we were actually hit by the real climate change, because when the coffee were ripening, we didn't get enough sun, the weather wasn't conducive, so we lost much of the crop. But last year, the weather was positive to us, because when you see the kind of stripping we did, because it reaches a time we have to strip all the trees to prepare for now the next year's crop. Do you understand the cycle of the coffee? The way, yeah.
Yeah, but when you say strip, usually I would associate that with, the harvest of the cherries. You strip down the branches to harvest all the cherries. Is that what you mean, or?
When we start harvesting, we only pick the ripe red cherries first. That is what we process, the ripe red cherries.
Yeah.
But it reaches a point, probably because of the activities that we're going to do for the next year with pruning and everything, we need to remove all the remaining coffee, whether it's ripe or it's not, and then we dry it off.
Yeah.
But during our main harvest, it's only the red ripe cherry, and that is what you guys are drinking now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the selectively picked cherries go into the specialty coffee market. Exactly. And then towards the end of the harvest season, whatever is left, it's kind of like, I guess comparable to a place where coffee doesn't grow, like here in the UK. Sometimes when I grow tomatoes, for example, towards the end of summer, there are still green tomatoes on the vines, and they probably won't turn red anymore because, no sunshine and so on. So you just take them off and leave them on the windowsill or wherever to ripen, or to just use them as green. And that's basically what you're saying, what happens with whatever is left on the coffee trees as well. Towards the end of the season, it gets stripped off. You dry the cherries where they're green, yellow, or red. And then can you still sell that coffee, or what do you do with it?
Yeah, there are people who buy that coffee. We dry it completely. Yeah, but it's usually not extremely green. It's just because it's not really ripe red as compared to we start picking the hand picking coffee and selecting it from the trees.
Mhm.
But it's called we call it mbuni in our I don't know if it's English or it's Kiswahili, but that is now how we call it. We call it mbuni, and we do
Okay.
take it for processing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does that
Maybe
stay in the domestic market, or is that sold into the international commercial coffee grade market?
now the buyers, we get different buyers from the auction.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's not really bad coffee, because at the end of the day, maybe the test that maybe these buyers like different kind of test. These buyers like this kind of test, because at
Mhm.
the end of the day, it's what the market, or the end product market will
Yeah.
determine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes
Yes.
sense. All right, but yeah, so carry on. So towards the end of the harvest, that's what you do. You strip the rest down,
Yeah.
and then you have to prepare the trees for the next season, you said?
Yes. Now we start preparing the trees by doing the pruning. In Kenya, or rather in the farm, mostly we do the, it's coffee management is mostly not mechanized.
Mhm.
Yes. So like the pruning bit of it, the picking, we have to pick it. It's a process that takes over 3 months into the harvesting period. And then we prune. Then we start doing the manure application, from the cows. Now, since I've been preparing the manure all throughout the year and doing the necessary, yeah. So yeah, and then I'd start with the whole management of the coffee all through the year.
Mhm.
Because right now, the shamba, the farm, smelling so nice. It's just smelling jasmine, because the the coffee has started flowering. So
All right.
go to the field. I really wanted to do the interview into the coffee field. It will have been much nicer having it there, but no, the rains did not allow it. But maybe next time we're gonna do it there.
Yeah. The rain. Yeah. I mean, it would be amazing, obviously, to have a little tour of your coffee fields. But you showed me the weather earlier. It doesn't. I don't want to chase you out there in this weather for sure.
It's raining so much, but no problem. We're here. We'll take the videos. We'll interact more. Yeah, but the field, it's really smelling good right now.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you say the trees are flowering now, what does that mean in terms of the cherry production on the tree? Then, how long will it be before you can pick cherries?
The fact that the tree, you can't really plan on it nicely. So that crop that is flowering right now, we will start early picking in July. We call it fly picking, and that is when we start now processing the natural processed coffee. I'm yet to send you some, hopefully. Because now the cherries are really ripe, red, and juicy and sweet. They are really looking nice. I'll share with you a photo of the July kind of picking that we do.
Oh, yes.
It's really nice. So the first crops will come into July, but fly picking not so much, because it's not really flowering. And coffee flowers twice. So the first flowering will be there, and then the main flowering comes in towards end of Feb. That is when now you determine really how much, and praying that the flowers do not abort. We call them aborting, of course. By managing it properly, it cannot, because the health of the coffee tree determines everything. Because even if you're healthy, you do not get sick oftenly, unlike when you are not really into your own spirit and into being so healthy. So it's the same way as the plant. And now connecting it to my medical background, understanding how when you see this tree, you're like, okay, you really look healthy, so you do not have a lot of issues to eat. Yeah.
Good. Well, it's a different kind of patient, but I can definitely see the parallels. That maybe your eye is trained to pick up signs of disease earlier than someone who doesn't have the same medical training, because you look for healthy organisms, right?
and trying to see if they really interconnect it. But it's just the aspect of it and the layman's language that when you're healthy, you do not have a lot of issues to eat. Yes.
Good. Well, but since we're on the topic, do you get any of the common coffee diseases? Do you have any beetles, any bugs that eat the cherries, or do you have to battle with any coffee diseases?
In terms of the insects, I think we are I think with the altitude or something. So because when you see right, let's take in terms of January, because January is when we might see some insects, but we use a lot of there's the how will I say biotechnology or something that you can see some bugs, and they are like there are some birds that eat the bugs.
Okay.
Or rather, when you see the bugs, because maybe it's hot, then God is on our side, it rains. So it washes off the insects.
Yeah.
So for the farm or even in this kind of area, we do not use insecticides. I haven't for the last since 2016, since I took over the farm, I haven't done any insecticide because when you see it, it rains or some biological or the weather just works on it. But in terms of the CBD, the blight in the coffee, yeah, we do, and we do manage a little bit with the chemicals, but not so much. There are chemicals that are how do they call it? I'm trying to get a word that it does not have any residue into it. It just acts on it and that's it.
Okay.
Yes.
So are they fungicides then, or?
A little bit of fungicide when it has gone to a very extreme, really extreme measures that we cannot handle.
Yeah.
But mostly it's not really, it does not go to that extreme measures that we really have to be doing like fungicide spray almost. Like the other time when we heard about Brazil being had with the blight and the CBD thing, that was in an extreme kind of way. And that's what I'm saying, because of our weather, it gets hot, it gets cold, it gets hot, it gets cold. So we do not use the fungicide to that much effect.
Yeah.
Maybe the only time that we might use the fungicides, it's in July. In July, June, no, April, May, June, it's when it's the coldest months in Trans Nzoia County. And when you do like a spray or two, it manages. Because as I said earlier, if you consider the health of the crop, like when you focus mostly of the health of the crop, getting such diseases it's in a very very minimal stage. So it's easy to manage it. So our main focus into our coffee Samwa is the health of the crop.
Yeah.
We got the manure, so we have no reason of it not being healthy. Yeah.
Yes. Do you have like what are other ways you take care of plant health then? Do you work with shade trees and implement other techniques like maybe cover crops or something like that? Or what are other ways you manage the health of the plants?
We have some trees that we've planted. Gluvarias are mostly the leaves of it acts as manure into the crop. And once we do a little bit of synthetic fertilizer adding into it onto the soils, and some foliar sprays that the pH or the pHI of it maybe is about 2 to 3 days. And with the foliar, you understand, by the foliar sprays, the picking of the crop is just like instant. So the foliar spraying and the health of the synthetic fertilizers, the CNs and the NPKs into the soil. Yeah. So generally, that's it. It's not so much into it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And the foliar sprays, are they also biological substances, or sorry for asking such specific questions.
No problem, no problem. There are foliars that are designed into the coffee plants, as I said earlier, depending on the residual effect of it, because there are others. Even if you spray today, the intake has been taken, but it does not stay into the crop for many months, or rather many weeks or anything. It should be around 2 or 4 days, like that. It's done, and it has done. It has worked its purpose to the plant. Yeah. Yes.
All right.
So there are specific ones with specific measures that has been put that are allowed into putting into the coffee trees. Yeah, with the residual thing that has been going on. And of course, I know our buyers do have, because we do test for residual. It's like a must. It's a must. Because if this is a body, it's not. We are not plants or anything. So we really have to take whatever is good for us. You understand? Yes.
Yeah.
And we do have, my mom used to it's so crazy. I don't know if it's crazy or what. So we used to make our own foliage. So there's this thing called stinging nettle. You know it?
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, we've got it here as well.
You have?
Yeah.
So you can make fertilizer out of it?
Yeah. And it's fun too. It's like a fermented soup, more or less, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it works magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when the worst comes to the worst, we use it as a first line for the crops first, because ours it just grows as a bush in the in the field along the fences. Yeah.
Great. And so that's the kind of thing that your mom used to use then.
Yes.
Make your own.
The old people had their ways of doing things, because even if had some little bit of insects, they used to use neem oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. And spray in the fields for it to work on it, and it does its own magic with no issue. Yeah, but by then January was January. The heat was too much. But right now there's just a way the weather just works on it, because insects, if it's extreme, it goes to an extreme, they cannot survive it.
Yeah.
The notorious insects in the coffee fields.
Yeah.
They're really tiny. So it rains, they're just being washed off.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, then nature is working for you in that regard, I suppose.
Yes, it is. I pray it continues working like this. Yeah.
Good. I also wanted to ask you about being a woman in coffee in Kenya, because I have heard about the group that you're a part of, the North of the Rift Women in Coffee group, and it would be great to learn a little bit more about that. What is it like to be a female coffee farmer in Kenya?
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So in Kenya, farms are owned mostly by the men. Yeah. The North of the Rift Women in Coffee, I'm not married right now, but my friends, they're way older than me, because I usually tell them, please say, when you introduce Not, you say we are not, and we are Sue with the women in coffee. So we are encouraged by the men. Like I've said, my dad is the one managing the owner of the farm. So they call themselves the we men, we men, because they're included into it. But with the times that we are in, and the new era that we are in the world, women are not mostly left out into it. So being a woman in coffee, first of all, when you stand there and you're a woman in coffee and doing something well, they are challenged. So we get the respect. we earned the respect into it. Yeah. So we maneuver into the women section of it. Yeah, and with not started as an idea into it.
Mhm.
We were five five farmers who
Mhm.
met at a conference. Our trailblazer is called
Mhm.
Sakami Coffee. So she had an order with the TSU.
Yeah, I think
And
I met her on a different call, Gloria. That is no.
yeah, Gloria,
Yeah.
yes. She had an order with TSU, and
Mhm.
by then her coffee could not meet the order. So they're like, okay, so where can I get the light-minded people like me and try to get this order? And that's how we came together. So it was an idea. Because at the end of, I think it was just something interconnected into it, or just God works in its own ways or something. Because we had met earlier, way earlier, in a conference on coffee matters,
Mhm.
and we came together. We knew each other. We were asking, okay, so how are you managing your coffee, and how, all kind of ways. And then this one came. So you see, now we came together.
Mhm.
And we've been working together for the last, this is our fourth year. Yes. And doing the same kind of management. If it's purchasing things like those synthetic fertilizer,
Mhm.
we do it together so that we have the same kind of quality going all the way to TSU and all the way to you as the
Okay.
consumer and everyone.
Mhm.
Yes. Because we are in the same area, not so far. We're in the same county,
Mhm.
Transoya County. Yeah.
All of you five women.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So we do everything almost the same.
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Good. And so there is constant exchange of communication, but I would imagine also maybe knowledge, because you
Yes.
said the others are older than you. So does that
Yeah.
mean that they've been working in coffee for longer as well?
Not so long. Slightly, maybe slightly. Sorry, maybe slightly. Because as have you read our story?
A little bit,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, there was one who was a banker, left work, came to
Yeah.
farming. Gloria was working into the beauty world. We had our late Gogo used to call Gogo. Gogo is a grandma,
Mhm.
so she was the oldest into the coffee.
Mhm.
So we used to take so much knowledge into her. And again, these things keep on changing because it's like you're learning every single day. Yesterday we had Gloria and some of our members were in the farm here at
Mhm.
home just to see, okay, now we've started, so what are you doing, what's the next step. So basically all through the year we meet like every other day and visiting each other's farm. If you have a challenge, we visit, and just to maintain that we are doing the kind of management and the kind of activities together, because we're in the same kind of vicinity, and we're in the same kind of having that one production year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good, good, good. And I mean, you did mention it earlier, because generally speaking, that is something that there might be no reason why men couldn't do exactly the same thing, and you could be a mixed group. But I imagine there must be a reason why you are north of the rift women in coffee. And you did say earlier that some of your neighbors took a little while to warm to the fact that you, as the little girl from the big city, came back to the farm and are out competing them now, essentially. So
Yeah.
does that mean that there is a thing about women and men maybe not being perceived as having the same standing, running
Yeah.
your own business and things like that?
Yeah. You'll find in the society, the women and the youth are the most vulnerable. So
Mhm.
the women will be working in the farms, but the man subjects, or rather, it's like the money that comes from the farm goes to their accounts.
Mhm.
Yeah. it becomes it's them who's like they're the ones who have worked. So that is the main challenge that goes on with our African, or rather even my area.
Mhm.
And I do encourage like the other day, actually, when was it? Yeah, on Monday there was a meeting with our cabinet secretary, and you'll find that the men are the ones who are attending the meeting, but who is working at the farm? It's
Mhm.
the women. And of
Mhm.
course, the women are the ones who are supposed to attend that meeting so that they understand the new ways of coming, or rather what is going on. Because you see, they will know like this is how the activities used to be done. So they do not have the knowledge that things have changed. We do not have to apply this, we do not have to apply that. And that is how us, the North of the Rift Women in Coffee, and we have a small affiliated women group in coffee, the ones with the small holder coffee farmers,
Mhm.
that uh, we encourage them, and we do, it's like monitor them. It's like what is the word? I'm looking for the word.
Like
I'm
a
trying to say
support, like a
it.
support program.
Yeah, yeah. That this thing you can own it, and you can encourage the husbands. We do encourage the husbands to at least even give them a small number of trees. Like as I said earlier, before my dad let me into managing the farm fully, he will test you. He'll be like, okay, let me give you this small part. I see what you can do, because you're coming with all this knowledge from Google, and me, I know what I usually do all the time. So you just do whatever you can do, and seeing the production that this thing is actually working, because times have changed. We are no longer using the old ways. We are, we're in a new era. So when we have those meetings, we do encourage them to even come with a spouse, so
Yeah.
that they see the impact that they make. And we've seen so much change. Like that small group that started, the husbands, they're reporting the husbands are warming up into the idea. They're warming up into having even investing in the production of it, and not just doing the same kind of things they've been doing for all those times, and waiting for the end production and everything. So it's
Mhm.
a good thing that they are trying, even the neighbors and everything. It's not easy. It's not really easy, because they can just wake up and say, okay, I do not want these coffee trees, and everything. So a woman, I don't know if it happens in your society, that they're looked into, they're looked
Mhm.
down.
Yeah.
Does it happen?
I mean, I would say yes. Maybe it's a bit more subtle now than it used to be, but there are still differences for sure. And women have different struggles from men.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's interesting to hear that, because obviously, I mean, here in the UK, for example, in Europe, it's not an extraordinary thing for a woman to own her own business. There are no legal or administrative obstacles that are higher for women than they are for men. So in
Yeah.
that sense, it is more equal, maybe. But yeah, I think especially in farming, I mean, I don't have a lot of farming experience, but I have heard a lot that farmers as a um, as a kind of people, as a breed, so to speak, can be a bit more resistant to change, and they like doing things the way that things have always been, because they work, that sort of thing. So yeah, I can imagine that you have to fight a bit of an uphill battle
Yeah.
with your amazing women's group, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It's because the farms are owned by the men. So,
Mhm.
and when the farms are owned, it's like it's not your farm. So you just can't come and do whatever you feel like. But
Mhm.
until you bring them and encourage them to come to the workshops, because we organized workshop with the different supports, like BSF, or they can organize a workshop just to teach
Mhm.
how coffee management is done, because things change every year. We have to adapt into the new system, the new everything that is coming onto it. So when they
Mhm.
come with their spouses, they will be a little bit lenient, and that is what they're reporting. Like now, they're allowing them to do whatever they have learned, not just working all through, them doing all the manual and all the hard work into it until the processing part of it. And
Yeah.
then this just take the money and they do not have a say into it. So it's a struggle, but we are getting there.
Good.
Yeah, because when you
Um,
see, when you call for a meeting this year and then the next year you see an increment of people, you'll be like, okay, there's something that is going on. Yeah, which is good. It's really encouraging.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to be a bit more gentle when you introduce change, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
just being inclusive about how you go about it. It
Mhm.
all sounds really, really good. I mean, I think it's important work that you do, that you offer these workshops and that you aim them specifically at smallholder farmers where, yeah, maybe the women traditionally do all the hard manual labor. And then, as you said, the men come in when the processing is done. And yeah, I mean, it's good if these things start to shift a little bit and
Yeah.
women can be heard as well because they have all the experience in the field. No, I mean, they see
Exactly.
everything that's going on and how
Yeah.
things are changing as well. So yeah,
Mm, exactly. Even encouraging them to give them the few number of trees that this woman can actually get revenue, not just doing all the donkey work and still begging for something like a little as even buying a sanitary pad or something. But they're encouraged, and we've seen there are men who have given them. Starting with my dad here, giving me a little bit of some trees for me to manage and call it my own.
yeah,
Even if you're given something, you'll automatically work 100 times harder than how you used to, because now it's like you own it.
yeah, it's your
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. But does that mean that you have now taken over the complete management of the farm? Is your father retired now, or how
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
setup for you?
This is my office.
So you're the
Yeah.
boss now. You're the boss lady.
My dad is retired, but we do consult him in so many things. So he's still the
Yeah,
chairman of the farm.
of course.
So yeah, he is there, but now doing all the work, going, managing everything, and yeah. But he's physically here, giving all the reports every day. And there are some challenges that you can face that you've never experienced it, and maybe he has experienced.
Yeah,
So
exactly. You
yeah,
have the
like
fountain of knowledge that you can
yeah.
tap into with him.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Like an instance of about 3 years ago, I was still new into the coffee field, and there was hailstorm. So, so you're like, okay, so all the leaves are gone. So what I gotta do here? And he was very helpful because he had experienced that kind of thing before. So in managing and advising me on what to do. So yeah, he plays a very important role into the Samwa Coffee Estate production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Well, it's really good to hear, very encouraging to hear that, both worlds come together, that you
Yeah.
still have the knowledge and the wisdom of the older generation and the men who have worked in coffee for so long, but that times are changing and women um, start to, well, play a more important role. But I would even wager the guess that they've always played that important role in coffee, but they've never had the recognition for it. And it's really good
Exactly.
and encouraging to hear that that's changing and that you're actually the carriers of knowledge now and have found ways to pass that knowledge on to other smallholder farmers and other women particularly as well.
Yeah. We have a voice now.
Yes.
We have a little voice. It's not so loud, but it's a little voice. Unlike the time that we used to hide behind there and sing, we were not heard at all. So it's really encouraging, as you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A growing voice. That's good.
Yes, yes, perfect. That is the word now.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Good. Well, thank you so much for making the time to talk to me today. It was a really, really interesting conversation. It was so lovely to meet you. As I said, we
Lovely.
all love your coffee. And
wow.
so, yeah, I mean, keep up the great work, so we can keep ordering it and keep buying it. And thank you for putting in all the hard work.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to be in this Kontext Coffee team. And I'm looking forward into you testing my coffee for this season, because I
Yeah.
think it's going to be nice, because the weather was so good to eat. So I'm looking forward to your feedback, and I'm looking forward into doing more business with you, and
Yeah.
maybe one day, one time, we'd physically meet. So
That'd be
asante
lovely.
sana for having me. Yeah.
Thank you. That'd be amazing. Yes, I would love that.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, rainy as it may be. Hopefully the sun will come out again.
All
And
right.
yeah, I
Maybe
hope.
we're gonna put some coffee now.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
pick the coffee and I will go and drink some coffee. How about that?
Ah,
I have the
perfect.
easy job.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you,
thank you for
Susan.
being so patient with me into having this meeting.
Not at all. The
Yeah.
connection was actually great, so no worries. Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye
Bye.
bye. Thank you. See ya.